TSVN has been covering the occupation of the president of Wesleyan University's office over issues of divestment. And we had video of that yesterday. We brought you up to about 5 p.m. when students and the president were in a dialogue about divestment. And now it's the next day. We'll be speaking to Yael Horowitz, who was a student who was in the office. Good morning.
Good morning.
So what happened in the late evening? I understand there's been some good news.
Yes. So in the late evening of yesterday, around 10:45, the students who were sitting in, we decided to leave the office out of consideration and in solidarity with the P-Safe workers who are being most directly affected by this. We weren't reaching President Roth at the nighttime, and we were only affecting these officers, so we decided to leave. We were back in at 7:45 in the morning, and around that time, President Roth came in. We had another conversation with him. In that conversation, he endorsed divestment from prisons and committed to looking into the Wesleyan endowment to see where it was invested and taking the steps that follow after that.
Well, let me ask then, how is Wesleyan invested in prisons?
So there's companies like G4S and CCA that take holdings and have investors, and these are the companies that set up the private prisons or provide the security technology for these prisons.
And so Wesleyan was involved in that. And so,
the thing is that the Wesleyan endowment is not transparent, so as of right now we're not sure what we are invested in. So President Roth has committed to that first step of finding out what we are invested in by looking for these companies that we've mentioned.
So he agreed to work to divest from prisons. What about the other aspects? What were the other things that people were asking divestment from?
So we are also calling a divestment from fossil fuels and from the Israeli occupation. In terms of that, he's committed to continuing to meet with us. We have another meeting set up for sometime within the next 10 days. And we've asked for consistent updates from him about the other two things.
Mm-hmm. So it's a partial win on that.
Yeah, it is a partial win, but it's a big partial win because it is a big issue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what were the groups that were involved in this action?
So we had Students for Justice in Palestine, we had Jewish Voice for Peace, we had West Divest, who works on fossil fuels, and we had Ujamaa, which is the Black student organization on campus. We also had participation from other groups like Middletown Potluck and USWAC, which is Labor Coalition.
Well, that's great, and I appreciate you talking to us, and we will get this right out.
Great. Thank you so much.